Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and Spotify to continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, Mango Voice, Community Healthcare Resources, and Invisired. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 385 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Christian Nelson, and if you want to understand, are you the doctor? Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast, and today I have Christian Nelson coming in from Keller, DFW area of Dallas, and right outside of Fort Worth. Really pumped for this episode. It's 385. And before I get to this episode with Dr. Nelson, I am going to let you guys know why we do what we do. We protect freedom of speech. If you guys don't know how necessary that is, just go and check it out. It's important right now. It's very important. It's always been important. We protect the sacred trust. If you don't know what that is, go and search for that on your favorite search engine and find out BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust. I keep educating people on why it's important to protect chiropractic. We do support subluxation-based chiropractors. If you guys don't know what that big word is, it's not submarine, it's not subway station, it's subluxation. And then we do believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence, and that when you adjust man or woman, it connects man or woman, the physical, to man or woman, the spiritual. And with that being said, welcome to the show, Dr. Christian.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Yeah, this is it's a really powerful message that we're going to share today, and I love telling the chiropractic story, even if it's like, a titration of thought, because chiropractic, we just have to continuously tell the story. When I first started learning about it, I heard like the big philosophical people would always say, tell the story, tell the story, tell the story. And, we've been doing that for a long time now. So I'm really proud of what we're doing, but getting to meet you recently, I'm really proud to tell your story. So,
well, thank you.
In regular Chiro Hustle fashion, my favorite part of this segment actually is hearing your story. And I think that a lot of people, even if they show up just for the first 5 minutes of our show and listen to who you are, that's a huge value add. So how'd you get into chiropractic? Tell us about your career. I know that you're kind of a youngster in the profession, but with a bright future ahead of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My chiropractic story, man. One of the things that I found so powerful about chiropractic as I got into it is that the vast majority of people have a life-changing story that completely changed the trajectory of their life. And the people talk about chiropractic finding them. In this case, chiropractic found me after 6 years. I was living in chronic pain. I had fallen off of a bunk bed onto my tailbone. I knew enough to expect some bruising. And my mom's a nurse. My dad's an engineer. So I had an idea of like kind of how the body worked. Or I thought so. And 6 years later, I was in worse pain than ever. I was hurting. My mom had been going to a chiropractor for a while. She's like, son, come on, let's go. I said, Mom, I've seen the Rambo movies. No way I'm going. Super skeptical. Terrible pain. Couldn't sit still longer than 5 minutes. It was cutting into school. It was cutting into just absolutely everything, my self-esteem included. And Dr. Hollis Wilson, man, he's total hoss. He's got his clinics out on the east side of Austin over there. Changed my life, man. It was bright. It was sunny. The staff was friendly. The doctor knew everybody's name. I was like, what kind of doctor's office is this? And then I got adjusted and I got so much relief. Jim, I was almost asleep on the drive home. Thank goodness my mom was driving, because I fell asleep in the right seat in 10 minutes on the drive home. Slept from Thursday afternoon to basically Saturday morning. They tell me I woke up and drank about a gallon of water and slammed a bunch of sandwiches, but I don't remember it. So I wake up on Saturday morning. I think it's Friday. They're like, no, it's Saturday. It's time for your follow-up. And I showed up, and I've known since I was young that I wanted to be some kind of doctor. I was thinking, I wanted it to be life-changing for other people. So I was thinking like I'd be an airborne ranger medic, because you want to talk about a place you can make an impact. Maybe, a trauma surgeon, or, something along those lines where you're pivotal in someone's life. I wanted to make a difference. And I found this, and I said, okay, this is it. Where do I sign up? So
Amen.
I did. 11
Amen.
years later, I graduated. 2 days after I graduated, I started into practice. It's go time. Let's roll.
I was in church yesterday or 2 days ago, and I said, we need to create more amen moments in our life. Like, we need to create those moments to where we can actually feel like empowered to say amen. And that's an amen moment for me. And I just want to share a quick quote that I made on my Facebook yesterday or the day before. It says, it's a BJ Palmer quote. It says, I will sell chiropractic, serve chiropractic, and save chiropractic. If it will take me 20 lifetimes to do it, I'll promote it within the law, without the law, and keeping with the law or against the law in order to get sick people well and keep the well from getting sick. BJ Palmer. And I think what you're talking about, from a young boy coming to, that's a huge story. And now you get a chance to be there used to be a Thomas Edison quote also, that the doctor of the future. If you guys don't know that, just go search Thomas Edison, doctor of the future. But now here's the thing. You're the doctor of the present. And that's really powerful, that you took this culmination of belief from a young boy that was like, don't Rambo me, to now I get a chance. now I get a chance to go forth and serve and take care of people with my skills. So congratulations to you, man.
Thank you. And I just add on to that the future is now. The things that we can do now were unthinkable even 20 years ago. What we know now about the brain and the body and the neuroscience and everything else about how the body goes about healing, how interconnected it is with everyone and everything else around it, goes far beyond even some of the wildest imaginings of like fiction. You read science, you read quantum physics, you read vibrational physics and everything else like that. It's mind blowing. And so what we can do now, the future is now. So they're talking about the doctors of the future. That's us. That's naturopaths. That's a whole lot of other people who are holistically minded. It's now.
Well, you also said something about self-esteem. Your self-esteem was starting to diminish because of your physical state. And so many people think that chiropractic serves the pain sector, but it also, what you just said, is it rewires the brain sector, and it gets people feeling better, not only physically, but it reconnects them to self. And it gives them a sense of confidence that they might not have had before they got chiropractic into their life. And, so many times people think that it's just like, this, like with you, obviously it was a physical condition, but so many times people come into it and it becomes, you ask them after like their 7th adjustment, hey, do you remember what you came in here for originally? No, I just feel better.
Yeah. And it goes beyond that, right? So I've been absolutely fascinated with the brain body connection from a pretty young age, because you have the mind and it does its own funny, squirrely things. And you have the body and it does its own funny, squirrely things. And the more connected they are, the more integrated they are, the more they take care of each other. And when you have a situation in the spine, such as the ones that we address, subluxation, and the whole complex, the whole host of issues that come from that, you have on a gradient, a disconnection between brain and body. So I like to tell my patients, I say, okay, take your pick, dissociation, decapitation, or death. Separating the mind from the body is not good. So what we do is we reconnect them appropriately, and when they do, they heal like they're intended.
And you do it on the terms of natural healing. And that's something
whenever possible. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love my buddy Eric Plasker. He would always say, chiropractic first, chiropractic second, chiropractic third, chiropractic fourth, chiropractic fifth, and XYZ, chiropractic sixth, and XYZ. And like he would go down the line and he's like, I don't care what condition you're managing in somebody's body or what they're experiencing, always chiropractic and whatever else. Don't just stop chiropractic because there's something else on the table. Go towards chiropractic and use
100%.
the chiropractic services along with whatever you think that you need to do in order to, relieve yourself of like sickness and infirmary. Like always keep chiropractic in it. Like I'm surprised that more people aren't like when they're in a surgical ward or something, having a chiropractor on staff, just adjusting people while they're like recovering.
Right? Oh my gosh. About that, we have amazing stories about pre and almost immediately post-op treatments for patients and the incredible difference that it's made in their lives when they get care right up to and as soon as they're mobile afterwards, like sometimes even before. We've had people come in wheelchairs, they're like, hey, I need to get checked. You can apply all the therapy you want to the body, but if it's not connected to the mind so that it does not heal properly, the therapy is in vain. That's it, man.
And you know what they're going
Chiropractic and
you know what they're going to say? It didn't work.
right.
But
it didn't work. Why not? That's it. People are satisfied with saying it didn't work. My brain doesn't work that way. It's like, why are we taking that line down? Why? Why did it not work? Let's find out. Let's answer the question of why. And so, yes, there are limitations of matter. Yes, there are limitations to what the human body can do, but they are a lot higher than what most people would think. And I think, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, like some of the elite athletes, like long distance, ultra marathoners, will show you what the body is actually capable of. And it's a lot more than the average person might think.
Well, I'll tell you this. You just mentioned some elite groups of people. Do you know my favorite groups of people that get chiropractic?
Who's that?
I love it when babies that can't talk get adjusted. Yes. And I love it when people adjust canine and equine, because those are two groups that don't say anything, but you can see an immediate response to their physiology shift. And it's not whether they can say, hey, I feel better, doc. No, they're performing better. They're sleeping better. They're managing their feeding better. They're sleeping, and like the whole cycle of life improves, and they don't say one word.
And they're not feeling better because they think they should be feeling better. There's no placebo to beat. There's no placebo to control for. They don't know that they're supposed to feel better after this intervention.
It's just a spontaneous remission of whatever they were dealing with, because there's no more pressure on the nervous system from the subluxation. Absolutely.
Can I tell a really quick story right here that actually happened yesterday?
We're free flowing, dude. Do it. It comes to you.
So I had a mom bring her kid into me yesterday, and this kid showed up with pink eye. And I mean, as pink of an eye as you can imagine, like pink rose pink, just like, it was incredible. I was looking, I was like, okay, we're wiping down everything after this kid comes through here. And she says, hey, will you check him? I said, absolutely. Like, this will help, decrease the brainstem inflammation, the upper cervical inflammation. So I checked him. I've been using the Zone School by Pete Goldman. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to interview him yet.
Several
Phenomenal
times.
Guy. Oh,
I think he's been on our show more than any other chiropractor.
That's fantastic, and he absolutely deserves it. But I used I'm like working on getting better at that and doing that, and that's incredible. If you don't know about that, if you're a clinician, like, go check that out. If you're a patient, go find somebody who does zone. It's just incredible. So I checked his zones real quick, and then I adjusted him. And right before I did, I told him, hey, I'm proud of you. You're very brave. Because he was like a little like tight-necked about it. And he just looks at me. We made eye contact. His shoulders dropped. I used that window and I adjusted him. Before his mom left for her scheduled treatment that day, his eyes looked the same from side to side.
You've made it to Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, Mango Voice, Community Healthcare Resources, and Invisired. Let's hustle. It's a clear
Right
nervous
there.
system.
At least vastly improved, and it was functioning so much better. And then, we were working on the things that have effect on immunity and blood flow and detoxification, getting things out of the body. And it was phenomenal.
So you just shared some stuff there, and I just want to put an exclamation mark after that. And, I spend time in rooms full of multimillionaires and very, very wealthy financially groups of people. And I've been able to elevate my standard of what I can learn from people because I've invested in myself and other people. Well, I'll tell you a couple of things that you just did there is you edified that little boy and told him that you're brave and you loved him with care. And I'll tell you, those groups of people that I spend time with, the two things that most people are really struggling with is number one, love.
Yes.
And number two, clarity. So you were able to love that boy, and you were able to create clarity in his nervous system, even for a brief moment that he wasn't experiencing before. So I just wanted to set that standard to people. It doesn't matter what age bracket you're in or what financial category you're positioned in. Love and clarity really matter.
Yeah. Our tagline here at the office is empathy, truth, and results, man. We got to start with a place of empathy. And I love that I'm able to relate to people because I have lived in chronic pain for years. I know what it's like to not be able to hold still in school and be scolded by your teachers for that, and to feel bad about yourself, to not be able to stand up straight, to not feel like you're powerful or you're potent in life. I know that feeling intimately. And I've been there, and then I can look at this little person that's hurting and that is scared and just be able to connect with them and be like, hey, I'm here to help. The book that probably helped me the most with that was Are You the Doctor, Doctor by Fred Barge. That was a pivotal book that I read in my doctorate studies. And yeah, you got to connect. Like, healing comes through community.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to believe that you deserve to heal, otherwise you'll rebound. And you have to connect to love. If you experience that love as God himself, if you experience that love in the presence of other people, and you have to allow yourself to feel it. And if you do, you'll get what you want and you'll get what you deserve, which is more often than you feel like you deserve. It's a struggle.
Yeah. The chiropractic miracle is big. And, I know we're totally off script, but it's okay.
100%.
One of the things I don't know if some people might know this, some might not know this, but when I started out my chiropractic career 13 years ago, I was working in a chiropractic biophysics clinic where I was doing traction setups.
Yeah.
And I was meeting a lot of patients, a lot of people would come through. And I had this little slogan that I would say to everybody is have a chiropractic day. And eventually what we did is one of our patients made a sign that hung above our door that when you saw it from the outside and when you saw it from leaving, it would say, have a chiropractic day with a smiley face on it. And I think, what you're saying is having empathy, but also having positivity. And, when you say it to somebody immediately, they do just what you did. You smiled. Yeah. And when you tell somebody to have a chiropractic day, you can't help but smile because it is inspiring.
It is. And it's because it roots into that truth of what the body is capable of doing. And we are lied to. I would say mostly in a state of ignorance, but we are being not told the truth as a society about what is possible in your healing and how interconnected you are. And like I said earlier, dissociation, death, or decapitation, take your pick. Separation of mind and body is not good. And you have a disintegration. Oh, there's your fourth D right there. And when you separate out the different systems and you try and treat things individually as if they don't relate, as if they don't happen in the same body, as if you don't feel those things in your mind, as if your mind is not felt in your body, and your body is the only transmission for everything from the world around you to your mind. If you ignore those basic facts of life and of physiology, you literally disintegrate the patient in front of you. Or as a patient, you are being disintegrated by the doctor in your mind as a mental framework, and it's unacceptable.
Well, people are at record numbers, psychologically impaired right now,
Yeah. Oh
and
God.
and their record numbers physically ailments. So I think that we have to just understand that chiropractic is the answer, first through 10, and
Yeah.
whatever somebody's dealing with, we can't labor them with judgment, but we have to offer service and care to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've been talking a lot about like metaphysical stuff, but let's talk more physical. Let's talk more physical. Let's
Let's get
talk
more
about
physical. Sure.
let's talk you. I know that
Sure.
we've had a pretty wild roller coaster the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've been doing some stuff with jiujitsu, but
Yes.
what else are you doing for yourself personally to stay fit,
Mm-hmm.
healthy? And I know you got 3 boys too. What
I
are you
do.
doing for your family to stay healthy and for yourself?
Absolutely. So the way I like to take care of myself is, and again, I'm going to try and limit the metaphysical and focus more on the physical, but I see them as one thing, kind of like as a through line. So I'll focus more on the physical part of it. My goal physically is to set a standard for myself and for my boys, because they're not going to do as I say. They're going to do as I do. And if I want good health for them, they need to see me at least working on my health. I don't have to hit peak, but they have to see me working on it. And they have to see me being willing to go out and confront things that are not comfortable. They have to see me working on things before it's a big noticeable problem if they're going to pursue a truly wellness-based lifestyle to where they're preventing problems. Because it's so much easier to keep a child healthy than to fix a broken adult, right? So that's what I want for them. So I'm taking a look at this like, yes, this is for me. I'm going to feel better. I'm going to do better, but I have to focus on my boys. And then I know that they're going to be the head of a household at some point. So how are they going to treat themselves? The way that they learn to treat themselves will then be the way that they learn to treat others, as far as what they believe they deserve, what others deserve. And that will turn into respect for their spouse, their future children. And so it propagates through the generations. And, obviously they'll have their choices along their way. They'll make their mistakes that will impact that. But if I don't give them that starting point, my view is, how do I give them a 10 to 20 yard head start in a 100-meter dash for health? So I work out, I lift weights, because that's absolutely the best way to take care of your metabolic health, build muscle, guard against disease. Muscle is actually a phenomenal buffer against disease. Most people don't know that. And that's not my idea. That's I'm trying to remember her name off the top of my head. It'll occur to me. She's done phenomenal work on muscle. She's actually been on impact theory. So if you take a look at like that, you'll find her. Gabby Leon. There we go. Great person. And I want them to see me volunteer to struggle. So I'm in my second year in jiu-jitsu, and I will get on the mat with guys who've been doing it for 4 and 5 years, and they can basically wrap me up and sit on me and submit me, choke me out, basically any which way they want. And I go back week after week, morning after morning. I'm going out and I'm confronting the things that I'm not good at, and I'm getting better at it. And they watch me counting my wins as, hey, I'm better than I was last time. I'm learning, I'm growing. I mean, by this point, I'm physically grown, but I need to continue to grow in my capabilities in my mind and how I take care of myself and my capability to protect my family, to protect myself. On top of that, I work mostly as far as with my personal physical health. I'm looking at my oral health. Cardiovascular disease is something that runs both on my wife's and my side of the family, as far as like family history that goes back. Oral health is just crucially tied into heart health. So I'm working on that, then on a big 30-day push for oral health right now. And then for the rest of things, I'm looking at enzyme management, as far as making sure my testosterone stays testosterone and doesn't get downgraded into different estrogens, especially the ones that look like estradiol, right? So the stuff that make birth control. synthetic version of what they make birth control out of, because I don't want to be on that.
Well, it's really powerful to hear your story and to hear how you're taking care of yourself and being a leader for your family.
I forgot the most important part. I get adjusted. Yeah, that's the most important, honestly. I'm sorry. That's just like such a given in my mind. It didn't even make the list. I'm sitting there going, Christian, come on.
Is it jujitsu or adjusting? Well, you probably need to get adjusted because of jujitsu.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a strain on the body. And I started out only being able to handle it once a week. And then like as I was getting better at it, as I became more flexible, as I learned the technique more, and I'm using less force and using more power, and it does help remind me to get adjusted more often, because you get into weird positions and then you feel like, oh, that's not quite right. Let me get that taken care of before that turns into pain, for sure.
And I'll just throw this out there. It changes your physiology when somebody's trying to choke your neck off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So there's everything else for the rest of the day. Like, you want to talk about managing stress. If someone's trying to do their best to break your arm or choke you out with basically your own clothes, they're heavy duty pajamas. First thing in the morning. Yeah. I like snuggles with people who are trying to kill me in fancy pajamas. That's basically what we do in the morning. It's great. But the rest of the day is easy, man. Everything else is downhill. Any challenges in business, any challenges in a patient's case, it's like somebody was trying to legitly hurt me this morning. The only difference between that and pure evil is the fact that when I tap, they let go. And that's what makes them my friend.
So I like this transition.
Fair enough.
Let's talk a little bit about some of your influences and some of your heroes in the profession that have helped shape you into who you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, the first one that comes to mind is John DeMartini. As far as helping me understand a little bit of where the mind goes. So talking about positivity and negativity, talking about balance between the two. And I owe a lot of my theories of as far as like how to help balance the nervous system from his ideas. And it was just incredible. Tom Redenbaugh, I don't know if you know him. He's a professor over at Parker University, but he was a mentor of mine, and he practices chiropractic, and he had a practice still while he was teaching. So I always tried to like find the doctors who were still practicing while they were teaching, because I'm like, those guys are grounded. The ones who like graduated and went straight into teaching, I'm like, you haven't seen the real deal yet. Like, it's cool, things, that's great, but you don't know things like you know things when you've been in practice. So yeah, he was hugely influential for me. Practice is best. I don't know if you're familiar with that technique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gosh, man. I'd say probably the third most influential doctor would be Josh Wagner. And I know he's been on your show. It's been a little while. Mm-hmm. But he's helped me as far as working on, we mentioned self-esteem earlier, but as far as feelings of deserving, which has been tremendous, because I get to translate that feeling and that experience, and just focusing on the patient experience and elevating how chiropractic comes to people in my practice. The practice is a reflection of the doctor, for better or worse. And so the more you improve yourself as the doctor, the better the experience for the patient. And it's just absolutely crucial for the doctor to be working on themselves so that we don't bring our BS into the treatment room.
Yeah, you got to check your stuff at the door, number one. And DeMartini made a profound impact on me. And he once told me that I had to give myself permission to be great. No one was going to wake up in the morning and do that for me. Like, I had to make that decision for myself each day. And, we all have like a junk drawer of idea inside of our head. Sometimes you just have to like dump it out and reorganize the junk drawer and to clear it up a bit and throw stuff away you don't need. And a lot of that is shame, fear, guilt, doubt, and all these limiting low vibrational frequency ideas. And we just have to like push that off, maybe burn it. One of the exercises I tell people to do is write down all the self-limiting things that you believe in yourself and go burn that.
Oh, it's so cathartic.
and take a fire to something that you don't like about yourself, that you tell yourself, that you believe in yourself, and just go burn it. And it will change.
Yeah.
It will change the way that you show up the next day. It might change the way you show up immediately, and
Yeah.
not just for yourself, but as you show up for other people. And
Agreed.
sometimes that mental blockage is so garbaged up that we just need to like release it. And
Absolutely.
I think
My favorite.
that's a powerful technique.
That's a good one. That's definitely a good one to get started. My favorite is to there's a deserving process that I learned from Dr. Wagner. He's got a whole book about it. It's called You Deserve It. And he talks about you've got to go and you've got to confront the things, your undeserving beliefs, the feelings, the experiences that you didn't like in your life, because your job, and it's a very difficult thing, is to love yourself. And you have to love yourself despite your mistakes, despite your flaws, despite your imperfections, because it takes maybe 5 seconds of paying attention to yourself to realize that you're a flawed human being and that you have caused other people pain in some ways, unintentional or intentional. And that's hard to make peace with, but you have to. And so you can't fix anything by running away from it. You can't medicate a problem and pretend to fix it. You can't cover up symptoms, and you can't run away from the problems in your body or in your mind. So you have to confront them. And waiting until it becomes a big problem that's manifesting in your life, it's too late to build the muscle to be strong enough to lift things. Like you've been lifting out, you've been working out, and it's been really inspiring seeing you. You just benched 250, right?
Yeah.
Dude, rock on. That's so cool, right? So, like you're not going to like not go to the gym, not go to the gym, and go under a bar with 250 pounds on it. You got to go and you got to start lifting. Maybe you start benching 90 pounds, like the bar plus like, a small plate on each side. And then as you get stronger, like the more reps you get with it, the more you get stronger. And now you become more able. And then you can confront your own shortcomings.
Truth is, that's where I started.
Yeah, a lot of people do, man. A lot of people think like 90 pounds, that's easy. No, it is not.
It's not.
It is not. It'll tear you up. Especially if your trainer's good and makes you go slow. Especially then.
Well, we're at the edge of our time together, man. I appreciate
awesome.
I appreciate you being episode 385. If people want to connect with you or learn more about you, where can I send them to?
Absolutely. So you can find me on so I'm on Twitter as Shoulder Chiro, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, The Shoulder Chiro. It's all spelled out one word. My website is keller-chiro.com. You can always call, you can always pop by. We love helping people. We always have dedicated spots. So if you want to come by, you want to get care here at this office, like it's a weird combination of a spiritual experience, a healthcare office, and whose line is it anyway? We use dark and cheerful humor. We say bad words. We talk about feelings and weird things going on, and we just really help inspire people to healing, because that's what we're called to do. It's a bonfire. If you don't leave at least a candle, we all messed up.
Well, check out Dr. Christian Nelson at Shoulder Chiro, The Shoulder Chiro, and Keller-Chiro.com.
Yes,
love
sir.
and appreciate you, friend. Have a great day. Have a great day down there, and everything's bigger in Texas. And I'll be in touch with you soon.
Yeah. All right. Blessings.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.